The next part to go on is the thermostat flaps. This is basically a two-part assembly. You have a long vertical rod and one flap with a little spring and some plastic retaining clips, and then another larger flap with this little C-shaped clip. A lot of people will leave these off, mistakenly thinking their engine's going to run cooler with no flaps, and the reality is it runs hotter. So you really don't want to do that. As far as installing it, it's pretty straightforward. These little clips have little alignment pins which line up with that little pin there on either side, and then there's this little spring that's held on one section, and then when you get it in, you give this little spring about half turn and it will go underneath here, and there's a little ledge to hold it. So let's do that. We've got this in. It's easiest to start on this side, pop it in, and then get over here, twist this spring, line this up, pop it in. And so you can see you've got some spring tension now. Now we've got to install the other flap. This flap, so there's these two little alignment clips that line up with these little pins. Just put that in there, clip it on, and then we've got to get this clipped on to here. Let's do that. Here's the thermostat flaps installed. You can see when you move them, they actually go in opposite directions. So when the engine's cold, it's in this position. This flap's blocking most of the air, and this flap is you can't see it, but it's blocking most of the air to the oil cooler. What little bit left is coming over the top. And then as the thermostat expands, it opens. Continuing the awesome powder coat engine tin installation videos for the Type 4 engine. This is the part everybody wants to see, the cylinder tins going on. This is the 1-2 side. It goes on pretty easily. There's a number of screws you have to put in here, here. There's two here, there's one over here. So there's some little fasteners you got to do right here and right here. On the other side, the 3-4 cylinder side, this one's a little trickier to install. You got to fit it around, but same sort of thing. There we go. And again, two screws here, there's two right here, there's one here, there's one here. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we have the thermostat installation. The thermostat is a super important part of your engine. A lot of people over the years take them off, leave them off, think they don't need them, and then later you got to go back and put it all back in. This is a used thermostat. Now I make these brand new, 100% new. There's the hexagonal top, there's some little nuts to hold it on, a new cable, I sell that. This is an original bracket. I reproduce this. This is a special washer. I reproduce that. And then the mounting bolt and washer for the thermostat. Installation is pretty straightforward. You just take this washer and put it on the bottom of the thermostat first, and then the matches up with the slot cut out on here. We'll put that in there, and then you put the washer and nut on it, and then you're ready for the next step. You can see we had the thermostat with the special washer mounted in the thermostat bracket. You put the cable through the top fitting, hexagon fitting, and then you just put it right on there. Again, a little tricky doing it one-handed. And then we'll have an assembly ready to install. Installation of the thermostat is pretty straightforward. You've got these two raised bosses right here. Thermostat just goes on like that. And then there's two small 6mm nuts with washers, and we'll put those on and we'll tighten that down, and we'll be ready to run the cable. So when it comes to routing the cable out of the thermostat, around the pulley, and then up through. Now this can be a little tricky. The best way is to look down through and sight it and see it. You can just barely make it out and then feed it up through the hole. Once you have the cable fed up through the hole, you can put it through this little clip here. You're going to tighten this nut when you get it where you want it, and so you know that, again, when the engine's cold, this should be down, which is hard to do one-handed, but get this pressed down and then pull the cable taut and tighten the nut. So there you go, it's installed, the flap is down, the cable is up, the nut is tight, so now it's ready for proper operation.